So I run an art gallery, but I'm not an artist. I'm an entrepreneur, a hustler. I start fires and I'm not afraid to take the heat. I find holes in the market and then I look for ways to fill them. I'm here today to tell you about a major hole in the market and how we can tap into untapped potential to help create a win-win for our community here in Wichita. My name is Anthony Joyner, and I'm the founder and director of Mulberry Arts. So, how did we get here? How did I become a social entrepreneur and a hustler for art? I grew up in an abusive home in a small town back in Mississippi. And at the age of 16, I made myself a series of promises. I'll get out of this house by the time I'm 18. I'll move to Tennessee by the time I'm 21. And I'll buy my first home before I'm 30. And for somebody from where I'm from, that's a tall order, each one of those things. But I accomplished each one of those goals. And when I moved to Tennessee, I met this beautiful woman that would become my wife. And she had family that lived here in Wichita, so we decided to come up here and visit. And I immediately fell in love with this city. I mean, it's so vast, so open, and there were so many opportunities, right? But the main thing that sold it for me was the potential for the art scene here. See, I already told you, I'm not an artist, but my wife is. And I thrive on finding gaps in the market and then filling those gaps with untapped potential. And I could see a lot of potential in my wife's work. So I started to grind. I turned on my hustle. I talked to everybody, to my coworkers, random families at Walmart, and even real estate agents, just about buying artwork. And as the sales came in, my wife continued to grow and develop and evolve her talent. And then her work started selling for hundreds and then thousands of dollars. And I was like, whoa. Now, people like Snoop Dogg, Shaquille O'Neal, and even some of our local celebrities have my wife's work in their collections. But you see, my wife's success is not typical. Black artists face a lot of challenges. I mean, especially when you consider the fact that in many cases, black artists weren't allowed to show in or sometimes even allowed in galleries until around 60 years ago. When you think about artists like Alfred Hare, who started the Florida Highwaymen, they sold their work out of the trunk of their cars because galleries wouldn't give them a chance. Even today, you got celebrated artists like Bisa Butler, who will tell you at the start of her career, she faced a lot of tremendous challenges. She'd take these beautiful quilted pieces with all this fabric and into these galleries that would tell her, like, I have no idea what this is. How do I even categorize this? I'm not showing it. It took a small black-owned gallery that couldn't even afford a booth fee at an art fair to give her a shot. Now today, Bisa's work is prominently displayed everywhere, from the Metropolitan Museum of Art to the Smithsonian, and I'm willing to bet a few people in this room probably still don't even know her name. And if you don't, you should definitely look her up because she is amazing. Black people currently make up around 12% of the US population, and that's just on census. Yet, art by black artists makes up less than 2% of the entire market. But that, to me, is an opportunity. It's untapped potential. When I met Brittany Stewart, she had already developed a few pieces and had the opportunity to show them. She was into redesigning furniture, but she also had these earth tone pieces with nods to neo-expressionism and cubism that to me were very impressive. So I talked to Brittany. I asked her, what is it you want? What are your dreams? What are your goals with this? And she said, I want a career as an artist, but I don't know how. So I told her she could come work with us, but she had to be ready to put in work. Brittany will tell you today she had no idea what she was getting into when she said yes to me. You see, when you work with Mulberry, I'm working on showing your work in Mulberry, but I'm also showing you in other galleries, in venues, events like this one. It's a constant motion, and you gotta be ready to keep up. We're also a family. We celebrate each other's victories, like Brittany winning her first award last year. Brittany is currently in the studio developing new pieces, and she's been happy with the opportunities to sell and show her work. As a matter of fact, we have some on display back there. I wouldn't be mad if y'all bought all of it. It's okay with me. But in all the opportunities to show and the growth that she's had, she's been very excited. Mulberry is currently the only gallery in Wichita that provides the large range of resources and opportunities that we provide to our artists. We provide studio space, we provide materials, we provide education to help artists understand what they're doing and how to actually have a career as an artist. We're more than just a show space. We're also developing our young talent through our program called Meet the Challenge, which is our mentorship program. One day I was introduced to this young lady named Q. She had dropped out of high school. She was very smart. So she went back, she got her GED and diploma, but her mom still wanted to try and keep her out of trouble. So she's in my friend's studio, and she has these little 6x6, 6-inch paintings, but she sits me down and she starts telling me the story behind them. And I get excited because a 17-year-old developing a common thread between several different pieces was amazing. And I started to wonder, what would it look like if Q had access to some better resources? So I decided to go out and buy some. I came back and did a small interview with her. And then I gave her those supplies, but I also issued her a challenge. I told her she had 72 hours to paint me something on this big 30 by 40 canvas, which was bigger than anything she had created before. She immediately told me I was crazy. But she took it nonetheless, and what she came back with was amazing. We sold that painting at Mulberry's opening for $500, which went toward helping her career. When you think about art, what art is a people's ability to tell their own story outside of government influence. I mean, 150 years from now, people are going to look back, and they're going to wonder who we were, what we did, and how we interacted with one another. And I don't know about you, but as a black man in America, the media alone is not how I want them to remember us. Art is the history of life as told by the people that actually lived it. So I'm asking you today to help us tell a more complete history. Support black art and join us in tapping that untapped potential. Thank you.